The second law of thermodynamics tells us that in any isolated system, disorder or entropy tends to increase over time, yet living systems seem to defy this trend by maintaining and even increasing order within themselves. How can life maintain such high levels of organization despite the natural tendency toward disorder? The answer lies in understanding that living organisms are not isolated systems. They constantly exchange energy and matter with their surroundings. One key factor is that living systems are open systems. They take in energy from the environment, often in the form of sunlight, food, or chemical energy, and use it to build and sustain their internal order. For instance, plants convert sunlight into chemical energy through photosynthesis. This process allows them to synthesize complex molecules from simpler ones, effectively creating order from disorder. In this way, plants are able to counteract the increase in entropy by continually importing energy. Could this energy input be the secret behind life's ability to create complex structures? Yes, because without a steady flow of energy, organisms would eventually succumb to disorder. Another important aspect is the use of metabolic pathways that direct energy to build and repair cellular components. Consider the human body. Cells continuously break down nutrients to produce energy. Furthermore, feedback mechanisms in biological systems help maintain homeostasis, a stable internal environment. For example, the regulation of body temperature in mammals involves complex feedback loops that adjust metabolic rates and blood flow. When the body gets too warm, sweat is produced and blood vessels dilate, releasing heat to the environment. When it's too cold, metabolic processes increase and blood vessels constrict to conserve heat. These self-regulating processes ensure that despite fluctuations in the environment, the system remains ordered and functional. Critical evaluations of these processes show that the second law of thermodynamics is not contradicted by life. Rather, life cleverly exploits energy flows to create pockets of order at the expense of greater disorder elsewhere. Energy input, efficient waste management, and complex feedback systems allow living organisms to maintain low entropy internally while increasing entropy in their surroundings. Could we replicate these strategies in technology or industry? Researchers in fields like bio-inspired engineering and sustainable design often look to biological systems for inspiration on managing energy and maintaining order, showing that these principles have wide-reaching applications. Thus, the interplay between energy influx, metabolic efficiency, and regulatory feedback is key to understanding how life maintains order in a universe governed by the second law of thermodynamics. While the overall entropy of the universe continues to increase, living systems use energy to build, repair, and sustain the intricate structures that define life. What does this mean for our understanding of both biology and thermodynamics? It reinforces the idea that life is a remarkable phenomenon, capable of harnessing energy to create order from chaos without violating fundamental physical laws. The second law of thermodynamics states that the entropy or disorder of an isolated system tends to increase over time, but living systems appear to defy this trend by maintaining and even increasing order within their cells and bodies, as they achieve this by constantly exchanging energy and matter with their surroundings, functioning as open systems. This dynamic balance allows life to sustain complex, organized structures despite the universal tendency toward disorder. For instance, the human body continuously consumes food and oxygen to produce energy while expelling waste products, thereby maintaining organized cellular structures. It's like a busy restaurant that imports fresh ingredients and disposes of trash every day to keep the kitchen clean and running smoothly despite the constant activity. Metabolic processes in living organisms transform energy from food into work, which helps maintain order within cells, even though these processes are not 100% efficient and produce waste heat that contributes to the overall increase in entropy. However, the continuous energy input allows organisms to build and repair complex structures, acting as a driving force that counteracts the natural tendency toward disorder locally. For example, when cells perform respiration, they convert glucose into ATP, using part of the energy to repair cell structures while releasing excess heat. It's like using fuel in a car engine that not only moves the vehicle, but also produces exhaust. The engine's operation creates order inside the machine, even though some energy is lost as heat. Unlike isolated systems, living organisms continuously exchange energy and matter with their environment, and this exchange allows them to export entropy and maintain internal order. By absorbing energy and nutrients and disposing of living systems exhibit self-organization, where local interactions among molecules lead to the emergence of highly ordered structures. This process is driven by chemical gradients, physical forces, and energy consumption that organize molecules into cells and tissues. And although entropy is always increasing globally, self-organization enables the formation of complex, functional patterns at the microscopic level. For example, in a cell, proteins and lipids spontaneously arrange themselves into membranes, forming well-defined compartments that support specific functions. It's like a flock of birds that, without a central leader, aligns and moves together in a coordinated pattern. Individual interactions create an organized whole. Homeostasis refers to the ability of living organisms to maintain a stable internal environment despite external changes, and this dynamic equilibrium is achieved through feedback mechanisms that regulate temperature, pH, and other critical variables. The constant adjustment and energy expenditure involved in homeostasis demonstrate how life actively combats entropy, preserving the conditions necessary for survival and function. For example, humans regulate their body temperature through sweating and shivering to maintain a constant internal temperature even when the external temperature fluctuates. It's like a thermostat that constantly adjusts a heating or cooling system to keep a room at a comfortable temperature regardless of outside weather conditions. Genetic material, such as DNA, contains the blueprint for building and maintaining the complex structures within an organism, and this precise information ensures that cellular processes are carried out correctly, contributing to the overall order and functionality of living systems. The replication and repair mechanisms in cells constantly work to preserve this order despite the natural tendency toward entropy, acting as a stabilizing force in the chaotic environment of molecular interaction. For example, cells use DNA repair mechanisms to correct errors that occur during replication, ensuring that genetic information remains intact for proper cell function. It's like having a detailed instruction manual for assembling a complex piece of furniture, ensuring that each component is placed correctly, even if minor mistakes occur during assembly. Living systems create negative entropy, or negentropy, by importing energy and using it to build and maintain order. And this concept explains how organisms sustain organized structures and processes in an inherently disordered universe. While the overall entropy of the universe increases, local decreases in entropy occur within living systems due to energy input and self-regulating mechanisms, a balance that is fundamental to life. For example, the energy obtained from sunlight by plants is used to create complex sugars during photosynthesis, effectively reducing entropy within the plant's cells. It's like a cleaning service that periodically tidies a messy room. The service doesn't eliminate overall disorder in the world, but it maintains order in that specific room. Biological systems are remarkably efficient at converting energy from their environment into work while managing the inevitable increase in entropy, as enzymes and metabolic pathways have evolved to optimize energy use and minimize waste. Despite the inherent inefficiencies, these systems balance energy conversion with the maintenance of order at the cellular and organismal level, a product of millions of years of evolution that fine-tunes processes to sustain life under various conditions. For example, the enzyme ATP synthase efficiently converts a proton gradient into ATP, the energy currency of the cell, despite the constant production of heat as a byproduct. It's like using a highly efficient engine in a car that maximizes fuel usage to produce power while still generating some exhaust. Overall, the system remains effective at driving the vehicle. The study of how living systems maintain order in the face of the second law of thermodynamics offers insights into both biology and potential technological applications, as understanding these mechanisms enables scientists to develop new approaches in fields such as artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and sustainable energy systems. The concept of managing entropy in living systems inspires innovations that mimic these natural processes, deepening our understanding of life itself while driving the development of efficient technologies in a world governed by entropy. For example, researchers are exploring biomimetic designs that emulate cellular energy management to create more efficient energy storage systems. It's like studying the design of a well-organized city to create a more efficient transportation network. By learning from nature's way of maintaining order, we can build better systems in our own world.